All right, welcome to The Explainer. Today we're diving into a conflict where victory isn't about having the most advanced weapons. Nope, it's about who can withstand the most pain. We're going to explore how a technologically superior force, backed by the world's greatest superpower, is being strategically bled dry by an opponent that seems weaker, using a playbook of economic and military attrition.
It was Israel's darkest night. That's how one source described the recent wave of Iranian missile attacks. You had multiple trails streaking across the sky over Tel Aviv. You had cluster munitions splitting apart, detonations just lighting up the darkness. It was a terrifying display, and it immediately begged a very, very serious question.
How did so many missiles get through, right? This is the central puzzle we're going to unpack today. And to find the answer, we have to look beyond the headlines. We've got to understand the tactics, the economics, and the very definition of what it even means to win this kind of war.
So to understand why that advanced shield is failing, we first have to appreciate the sheer scale and, frankly, the brutal nature of the attacks it's facing. This isn't some clean, distant war fought by soldiers. This is happening right on the doorstep of civilians.
The human cost has been absolutely devastating. As of late March, Iranian strikes had killed at least 19 people and wounded over 5,000. And these aren't soldiers on a battlefield. We're talking about civilians, people like a couple in their 70s who were killed by a cluster strike, unable to even reach their safe room in time. The attacks are relentless, and strategically, they've even struck near Israel's primary nuclear research facility at Dimona.
And all this carnage is happening despite what is, by all accounts, considered the best air defense system on the planet. It's this incredible four-layered shield. You've got the short-range Iron Dome, David's sling for the mid-range, all the way up to the exo-atmospheric Arrow 3, and it's all backed by the American THAAD system. It really is a technological marvel. So why is it being penetrated?
And that brings us to the asymmetric battlefield. See, Iran and its allies, they're not trying to match Israel's technology one for one. That'd be crazy. Instead, they'd engineered a strategy that uses clever, low-cost weapons specifically designed to overwhelm that expensive, high-tech shield. Okay, check this out. Tactic number 1 is the cluster warhead. Now, this isn't about a bigger explosion. It's an engineering solution. A single missile is launched, and the defense systems track it. But then, in the final seconds of its flight, it just cracks open and releases up to 24 smaller submunitions. And just like that, one target becomes 24, scattering all over the place. There's no way an interceptor can chase all of them down.
And the second tactic, well, it's even more sophisticated. Allies like the Houthis are using these semi-hypersonic missiles that fly in a skip trajectory. So instead of a nice predictable arc that defense systems can calculate, these things literally bounce along the edge of the atmosphere. They're constantly zigging and zagging at incredible speeds, making it just about impossible for prediction radars to get a lock.
So the crucial point here is that Iran has basically rewired the entire strategy. It's not about brute force. It's about turning Israel's most expensive interceptors completely useless by overwhelming them with dozens of cheap, hard-to-track, and unpredictable threats. It's a numbers game that the defender is just designed to lose.
Now, this war isn't just being fought in the skies over the Middle East. Not at all. Its shockwaves are hitting the entire global economy, creating a crisis that affects households thousands and thousands of miles away. And it all comes down to one critical choke point.
And that choke point is the Strait of Hormuz. It's where about a fifth of the world's oil normally flows. Well, since the war began, Iran has basically said not a single liter of oil is getting through for any ship linked to the U.S. or its allies. The result? Commercial traffic has collapsed by 97%. That's not a disruption, that's a shutdown.
The consequence was immediate, and it was historic. In just 1 month, the price of Brent crude oil surged 51%. Now, to put that into perspective for you, the old record was a 46% jump way back when Saddam Hussein invaded Kuwait in 1990. That record stood for 35 years, and this conflict just completely shattered it. The real-world impact is just staggering. Brent crude soared past $112 a barrel, and analysts are now warning that if that strait stays closed, we could actually break the all-time price record from back in 2008.
And why does any of this matter to you? Well, because that price hike translates directly into pain at the pump and at the grocery store. U.S. gasoline prices are back over $4 a gallon. In Australia, some states actually made public transport free because people couldn't afford to drive. The Philippines is seeing household budgets just shrink. And because components for fertilizer also move through Hormuz, the cost of food worldwide is now at risk. It's a crisis that started in one strait but is being felt at dinner tables everywhere.
All right, now we get to the strategic aha moment. Because to really, truly understand this conflict, you have to grasp that the two sides, they aren't even playing the same game. They have fundamentally different ideas of what it means to win.
As one analyst put it, for Iran, survival is victory. This is a core part of their doctrine. Their goal isn't to defeat the U.S. military. They know that's impossible. No, the goal is to absorb the punishment, inflict enough economic and political pain in return, and simply hold on long enough for the other side to lose its will to keep fighting.
And look at this crucial difference. The U.S. and Israel, they define victory as regime change, right? Dismantling Iran's nuclear program, creating a compliant government in Tehran. But for Iran, victory is just surviving the attack. It's consolidating power. It's still being there when all the smoke clears. This asymmetry in what winning even looks like, well, it changes everything.
And not understanding Iran's goals led to a massive, massive strategic blunder. The initial U.S. and Israeli decapitation strike was supposed to collapse the regime. Instead, it killed the supreme leader, but it installed his younger, more hardline son, a man who lost his father, his wife, his daughter, and his sister in that one strike and is now motivated by pure revenge. The strike didn't weaken the regime, it actually strengthened its resolve.
So when you put all these pieces together, the battlefield tactics, the economic warfare, and these clashing definitions of victory, you get the final picture. This has become a brutal, prolonged war of attrition.
And let's look at the grim arithmetic here, because the math is just brutal. A drone might cost Iran, say, $50,000. The missile to shoot it down, over $1 million. A ballistic missile costs $500,000. The Arrow 3 interceptor to stop it costs $4 million. So on a heavy day of attacks, Iran might spend around $200 million. But Israel and the U.S. can spend $1 billion just on defense. This is a strategy that is deliberately designed to bankrupt the defender.
And that economic attrition, it's working. According to sources, Israel has already told Washington that it is running critically low on the interceptors it needs to defend itself. These advanced interceptors take months to build. The missiles they're supposed to stop arrive in minutes. Those stockpiles are draining fast.
Which brings us to the final and kind of unsettling question. In an asymmetric conflict like this one, where the battlefield is economic and political just as much as it is military, and where one side wins simply by not losing, who blinks first? The side facing bankruptcy and dwindling ammo, or the side that just has to endure?
Thanks for watching Warlens Reports. Like, subscribe, and stay tuned.
Your support keeps us going. See you next time.